Mr. Chair. So we did interview former Minister Morneau, former Minister Wilson-Raybould, Mathieu Bouchard, who was a senior advisor to the PM, Nathalie Drouin, Deputy Minister of Justice, Elder Marquez, senior advisor to the PM, and Michael Warnick, who was with you 2 days ago. The other people with whom we communicated we were satisfied that the documents they had forwarded were sufficient for us to understand their participation in the subject matter without having to interview them.
So Mr. Wernick said that you personally interviewed him, that's correct?
Yes.
Is that true for the other 6 people?
Yes, it is. Throughout my tenure, I was present every time anybody was interviewed. I was present. This was Madame Dawson's practice as well. I simply followed the same practice.
How many investigators, did you have that worked on the file?
We had one investigator, and we had one lawyer, Michael, who is here today, who played an extended role on this one, because Madame Richard was excluded from the file right on day one. I gave clear instructions that Martine Richard was not to be involved in this investigation. So it was Marie-Josée Smith, Michael Aquilino, and I, period.
Is Ms. Smith still employed in the office? She is. You've said that in interviews following your retirement, sir, that your investigator has a set, or that you in the process used 49 questions. Is that the right number? It was a list of 49 questions?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I have no recollection whatsoever. I don't know. We don't know. I have no idea where this comes from. I don't.
Okay. If I recall correctly, I think it was in a podcast where you talked about your interview process, maybe with the Hill Times.
It's not possible, Mr. Chair, because we don't have a standard interview format.
Okay.
Each time, the way it works, each time we have a witness, Marie-Josée prepares a draft, Michael reviews it, I review it, and we follow the script, except that the commissioner is there to add, to emphasize certain things, to ask questions that come up because of earlier answers and so on and so forth. Okay. So there's no
form.
preordained format whatsoever.
In the case of the Trudeau II report, were you fully able to discharge your investigatory duties defined or provided for by the Act?
No, as I said so in the report, Mr. Chairman. We tried to obtain further documents that were covered by the Cabinet Confidences Convention, and we failed in doing so. So therefore, but I thought that we had nevertheless enough material to come to a conclusion, to a finding. That's why I did proceed absent the documents that were missing, that we still don't know what they contain.
Right. And that finding was a finding that, of a contravention, that the Conflict of Interest Act had been broken by Mr.
Section
Trudeau.
9 of the Conflict of Interest Act there was a contravention, as we refer to them, to Section 9 of the Act, which was the scope of the investigation. I decided on my own volition, in light of the media and what was being said elsewhere, to launch an investigation on February 8, 2019. The scope was Section 9,
okay,
and I did find a contravention to Section 9.
Thank you very much, sir. Commissioner, are you investigating any board members at Sustainable Development Technologies Canada?
Talking to me?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I thought you were still dealing with
I just changed gears.
Can you repeat your question, please?
With my last minute, a couple quick questions for you. Are you investigating any board members at Sustainable Development Technologies Canada?
Yes.
How many?
2.
And have you launched any investigations of your own accord, or only files that have been referred to you?
No, I have only launched investigation at the request of I think members of Parliament or maybe the public. I don't know, but not on my own.
Have you interviewed relevant people in those cases at this point?
Mario explained to you the process, and that's exactly what we're following to, where we decide who has to be interviewed. We make a set of questions. The questions are being posed by the investigator. I'm there, I'm present. I may ask additional question or clarification if required.
So I have 2 quick questions in my last 15
Very
seconds.
quick.
Have you received access to all of the documents that you've requested? And when can Parliament expect a return on those reports, sir?
Yes, I have received all the documents I've asked for. We are interviewing a few more witnesses, and then as soon as we can, we'll issue a report. Obviously, I'm fully aware that time is of the essence. These things shouldn't drag out too long, both for the public but also for the person being investigated.
Yes, sir.
So we will do it with due dispatch.